Hey, this is Dan. We're going to talk about developing a breaking ball. So, I urge all young athletes, and that's middle school to high school, young pitchers, to work on 2 pitches and maybe a third. We teach a changeup to everyone, and we teach one breaking ball to high school age pitchers. So, a lot of kids will come in and say after a fastball, a slider, a sinker, a changeup, and a curveball, and we say no. You're going to rely on your best 2, and one of those 2 is going to be a changeup most likely, and then we're going to teach you a third. And the reason being is, it takes a long time to develop a good breaking ball. So again, in my other video, I talked about how I think 1 in every 10 to 20, somewhere in there, it clicks. So if we have 20 kids and we teach them all a breaking ball, maybe 1 to 3 of them, it's going to click and they're going to have a good one almost immediately. For everyone else, it takes a long journey to get that pitch really, really good. And just like any other skill, it takes time, right? But what we see too often is kids go off, their curveball's not very good for a couple months. And so what do? They scrap it for a slider. Or they go off to, their summer team or whatever, curveball's not real good, coach goes, oh, let's teach you, let me show you, hold it this way, or let's teach you a slider, that doesn't look very good, let's pick this different pitch. And like anything in life, you need to stick with it, okay? And so we try to figure out, based on arm slot, based on arm action, based on the grip and the way they throw, which pitch, the curveball or the slider, we try to find out which one is best suited for every pitcher. Pitchers who have a lower arm slot are most often going to be better with the slider than they are curveball. Because with a high arm slot, it's going to be probably better with a curveball. But again, it just depends. But we want to try to pick the one that matches that player, and then stick with it as long as we can. So, with that in mind, we want to develop that pitch over a couple years in high school. We want to introduce it as a freshman, sophomore, and develop it all the way through as a junior, senior. And we want to stick with those pitches. If you look at a D1 pitcher, they have a very above average fastball that's mid to upper 80s that they can locate all the time. They have a good second pitch, whether it's a really good breaking ball or a really good changeup, they have a good second pitch. And then they have a third pitch that's typically mediocre for that level. So you don't see that many pitchers at the D1 level who have a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, hammer curveball, and wipeout changeup. That's not very often. Those guys get drafted and they play professional ball, but that's a very small percentage of them. So to develop those 3 pitches, to get each of those 3 pitches as good as possible, we just need a smaller amount. We need 3 or 2, definitely not 4 and definitely not 5. I've been trying to pick up a cutter this offseason, and it's frustrating because in a typical bullpen of 40 pitches, once you get warmed up, that gives you 10 fastballs, 10 curveballs, 10 changeups, and 10 cutters right now. So for me to learn a new pitch, throwing only 10 of them twice a week or 3 times a week at most, and 3 40-pitch bullpens is a lot in a week, that's not enough repetition for me to get that pitch good. It's really difficult to do that, and so what you have to do is put one pitch on the back burner. So for a while I was throwing only fastball, changeup, cutter in my bullpens, and before that I was throwing only fastball, cutter in my bullpens to try to develop that, get more reps to it. And that's what most pitchers struggle with. They're trying to, in a 30-pitch bullpen, which is more typical than a 40. 40 is a little bit long. In a typical 30-pitch bullpen, if you're throwing 5 pitches, you're getting 6 of each. And that over a long period of time isn't enough.